Yo, what is up everybody? Welcome back to the channel once again for another review. Today we have here S.H.Figuarts Yuzuriha from Hell's Paradise, and honestly this is one I was pretty excited for. All three of the Hell's Paradise characters so far that we've gotten in SHF form have been okay. I think gabimaru is probably a really nice figure. Sagiri is like, I don't know, I'm not really feeling that one, more or less because of the lower leg movement, but hopefully, we'll see what they can do in the future if they continue the line with more characters who, dress similarly. But yeah, Yuzuriha has been one that I've been looking forward to a lot, not just because of this particular series, but because of what it could potentially mean for, I don't know, stuff like the Naruto line with more of their female characters and their type of ninjas and stuff like that. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump straight into it, get into the accessories, articulation, and all of that good stuff. So of course I've got to mention the blade at the back. It does just peg in to her back right there, and it doesn't really pop out or anything. It's just kind of a display piece. I believe she used it very shortly. I don't remember her using it that much in the anime, so probably that's why it's more of a prop. But of course, if you've got spare blades laying around, you can give them to her. I believe they should fit, if it's a decent sized blade, into her kunai hands. But yeah, all it does is up and down. So if that's something you don't really care about and you would rather leave it off, you can do that too. But yeah, let's get into the other stuff. So she does come with two kunai, and I believe these are just a little bit different from the ones that the Naruto figures have gotten. I believe the Naruto ones have like stuff wrapped around this part. So that might be like one of the only differences really. Maybe a color difference. This is kind of like what looks like metal. I think the other ones were more like obsidian, kind of glossy, but I'll have to check again. But yeah, that's pretty much it for those. So right out the box, she's got this joyful, smiling, giggling, maybe expression. Here she's got her sticking her tongue out expression. Let's see if we can capture that. There we go, focus. Here we have more or less the same kind of out-of-box expression, but the eyebrows are a little bit different, kind of giving her a little bit more of a devious look, like she's about to do something, either behind your back. She's sneaky. You know how she is. If you've seen the show or read the manga, you know how she is, bro. Here we have just a neutral expression, smiling a little bit there. Here we have a cheerful or gleeful expression with the eyes closed. Out of the box, she is coming with those two fist hands. Here are her kunai holding hands. Here's what I would think is her fighting stance hands. And lastly, here's just a regular set of open palm hands. And with that, let's dive deep into the articulation. Alright, so here's me in post. I quickly want to talk about this Yuzuriha, so I'm just going to be pretty much voicing over all of this clip. This is basically an articulation segment, so you can look at that while I'm talking. But yeah, her ab crunch is the topic of the hour. So after I made this video, I wanted to mess around with her a little bit more, and I was feeling a little annoyed because I was like, where exactly did they glue the outfit, the gi, whatever you want to call it, to her that she can't really use her articulation in the ab crunch? It didn't make sense to me. Like, this is a figure like that I was hearing great things about until I feel like she's a great figure, but that little thing is just like, why did you need to do that? So I found out, and it's like right under her collarbone, kind of near the armpit shoulder area, if that makes sense, right above the chest. I don't want to get weird, but you know what I'm talking about. So I separate it, and it works. She can actually move and use that torso articulation there, or ab crunch, I mean. And while it didn't offer like any extra crazy articulation and range, it's the fact that I could actually use what they put in the figure. It's usable now, and it didn't make sense that they would purposefully limit that and know that, because again, we've been seeing them use soft plastic. This is nothing new. But we are in a trial phase, and we have been in a trial phase this whole year with it. And we're still going to be in a trial phase with it next year. I don't think that they're going to find a permanent solution for a while, because they're trying a whole bunch of different things. The slit in the back doesn't really work, because that means you actually have to make sure that the articulation inside of the robe, whatever the outfit is, actually can move. And if it can't, then what you did there was pointless. And that's why a lot of people, I think, are concerned with, like, for example, Trafalgar Law, who's coming out March of next year. And honestly, I mean, he looks great, but how will he pose? Can he actually use his own ab crunch and torso articulation? That remains to be seen, of course, until we get a deep dive of it. But yeah, it's stuff like that makes you question, like, what are they doing? Do they value design more, or do they value articulation more? Because these are supposed to be superposable action figures. That's like the whole thing. Your design is great, but at the end of the day, and I'll keep saying it, if I want an action figure to be seamless, I will go get a statue instead. Doesn't make much sense for a figure to necessarily look like a statue. And I mean, if you can make it look like a statue and pose well, go for it. But if you can't, I'd rather you just stick to, segmented parts. Her articulation at the top could have been, 2 pieces, and I would have been okay with that. But what they did here, again, she's not a bad figure. She's great. She can still pose pretty well, even without that ab crunch. It's just, why are we still limiting articulation that is existing on these figures? That is the thing I think they still need to think about and move forward and stop doing, because a lot of things that need to be adjusted after the fact is, I think, not okay. Like, I don't want to have to sit here and get creative with, oh, I can fix this, I can cut this off and make this figure more articulated. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I'm buying the figure because I wanted to already do that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of my take on that right now. And again, she's not a horrible figure. She's not a bad figure. She's good. She's great. She just has that little tiny limiting factor about her that they are still testing out, and we'll have to see how they continue to operate with that. But without further ado, I'm going to end it here and let it go back into the actual video. So thank you for listening, and enjoy the rest of this conclusion. All right, so we've made it to the conclusion of this video. So Yuzuriha, what can I say about this figure? I'll say that I will be just a little bit more forgiving with the whole soft plastic situation here. This wasn't exactly a character that I was super over the moon for. I was mostly hyped, over the other 2 figures from the line that we got. But I was intrigued to see what more that they could do with the articulation for the soft plastic, with the whole, seamless look that they're going for, because they won't seem to stop, right? They're going to keep doing it. So I want to see what they could do here. And it does disappoint me a little bit, because somewhere in there, they've glued down the, I guess you could call it, I want to say a gi, but the clothing, the plastic part, they've glued it somewhere in there, and she can't really utilize that ab crunch that is clearly built in there. So I don't know. That's like my main issue with this, because how are you going to do that? And then when you get the figure out, expect people to just be okay with it. That's one of those things where it's like, I still value articulation over design in most cases, because I want to actually pose the figure. I want to take pictures of the figure doing cool poses with other characters, etc. And just for display purposes, to make the character look cool. When I can't do that, that's where we have a problem. I can get over a minor skin discoloration because I'm not staring at the thing 24/7, right? And I can get over maybe a little mark, that got scratched on there for whatever reason. But when it's bothering me that I can't articulate the figure like I want to, that's where get a little uppity. So would I recommend you buy this figure? If you like Yuzuriha, go for it. I don't think she's a horrible figure by any means. She still can do a lot. It's just, that small limitation of articulation there just isn't making sense. And I don't know why that continues to be a thing in the design room, where they're like, sure, yeah, that's fine. Sure, she can, like I said earlier, she can articulate back fine. Front, is okay. Anything crazy or over the moon like other characters can do, but she can't use her own articulation that's in there. So yeah, accessories, mild. She didn't really do anything crazy like that with, kunai and swords and stuff. She used her capabilities, which are, in these little canisters, which she has abilities for. But yeah, other than that, she's okay pickup. I would recommend it if you like the character. Biggest takeaway, hoping that they acknowledge what, responses they get back for this line with Yuzuriha, because I do think that the Naruto line, and if you haven't watched this Orochimaru review that I did, you might not have heard this, but I do think that the Naruto line is lacking more female characters. There's a lot of female characters that they need to add in there, and first of all, it's got to be Lady Tsunade. Okay, they need to add the legendary Sannin trio in completion, and I really think that this is a good jumping point, and kind of see what they can do there with more female characters, because again, the female characters are not always that good. Sakura was okay, but there's been plenty of other figures that just were spinning around asking, okay, why don't they have this? Why don't they have that? This is probably a big step up in terms of articulation from what we've seen from most of those figures. So that's why I'm a little bit more gracious with it. But yeah, without further ado, I think I'm going to end it here. We've pretty much almost caught up. I have one more review to record, and then we'll be officially ready for Metal Cooler and all the other figures that are going to come out late this month, near the same time, of course. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you disagree with anything or you want to add on to anything I said, of course, comment below. But with that, I'm going to end it here. Catch you guys later. Peace.